Well, tell us a little bit about FDIC. The FDIC is coming up in April of this year. Tell us a little bit about the concept behind it and what makes it so special.
FDIC is sacred ground. FDIC has been around for, this is our 87th, if I'm getting it right, I hope I am, 87th FDIC. And what's important about FDIC is, much like fire engineering is a voice for all the firefighters, FDIC is the same way. FDIC is where any firefighter who's teaching on literally any topic in the fire service that has captured their imagination can have an opportunity to present to his peers and get feedback. It's a week-long celebration of what we do, where we go and we do hands-on training for 2 days. We have 21 hands-on training events. But what's unique about the hands-on training at FDIC is that the teams that come in are the complete teams. So say you call, the traditions training guys, for example. It's one of the few times where all 8 of them or 9 of them are together providing their hands-on training to a group, or the guys that run the collapse class, or the guys that run the live fire. We've partnered with my good friend Jimmy McCormick, who is just probably one of the most brilliant hands-on training instructors in the world, with FDTN, which is already sold out. Then during the hands-on training, we have workshops. We have 80 workshops, and it's names like Brunacini and Lasky and Salka and Graham and Goldfeder, and you name the firefighter, Ritchie, Norwood, McCarthy, you name the person, Schaefer, whoever it is who's captured the imagination of the fire service today is doing a 4-hour workshop. No repeats. Nobody repeats. So then on Wednesday we do a main program where we try to find the strongest voices in the fire service to speak. Last year it was Anthony Castros and Mike Walker, who just blew everyone away. As well as this year it's going to be Eric Roden and George Healy. Eric's from Milwaukee and George is from FDNY. 2 of the most brilliant men in the American fire service, bar none. Guaranteed to give spellbinding keynotes. And then we do 200 classrooms. Again, no repeats. So you might have someone who's in a volunteer fire department in West Idlewood, Iowa, and he's got a great program on tracking volunteer resources at the fireground. Or you may have John Norman, who's speaking about tactics in the next room, and they're both spellbinding. And Dave Dodson comes every year, and so there's a cadre of folks that come almost every year because they're constantly coming up with new insights into their field of interest. But we're also blessed with probably about 60% of what you see at FDIC are folks who have never taught there before, who you may have never heard of before. But if you go back and look at fire engineering, they wrote an article. And I always tell folks, if you want to get picked up for FDIC, write. Either online or in the magazine, and that's how you get to FDIC. So we have guys teaching at FDIC and gals who may have only had 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years of experience, and we have people speaking like Chief Brunacini, who's been in the fire service for 50 years, and it's unbelievable, and it goes on for the whole week, and there's all kinds of activities. There's combat challenges, there's the Fool's Bash, there's the Union Party, there's street parties, there's author parties, there's signing parties, there's Stop, Drop, Rock and Roll from the National Fallen Firefighters, there's Comedy Night with the Cancer Support Network, there's you can't imagine. Every night is jammed full of activities. Every day it's training from the minute you wake up till the minute you go to sleep. There's 30,000 of your closest friends all jammed into. Every hotel is sold. All the downtown hotels, every hotel is sold out with nothing but firefighters. The streets are filled with nothing but firefighters and our spouses and friends and the folks that support us. And then the folks that come that support us, the manufacturers and the vendors and the dealers, are the most motivated and invigorating people, and their booths are full of information about their products and innovative and incredible ways to use them. People like Globe and Darley and E1 and Pierce Homatro and Hearst, and the list goes on and on. If I'm leaving anybody out, I apologize, but and they've all got these incredible new products for you to look at, and they don't just bring the salespeople. They don't care if you don't buy anything. They want to educate you. They bring the engineers and the people who put them together, and you can put your hands on them and you can play with them, and simulators. There's 1,100 of these guys and gals. The convention center is full. The Lucas Oil Stadium is full. The street is full. Every nook and cranny, the booth line, the walls. You're making new friends every time you turn around, and bumping into people you haven't seen. And it doesn't matter if you're career or volunteer or combination or retired, or you're just thinking about becoming a firefighter. It's the place to be. And for 1 week, the world revolves around the fire service.
Well, that's fantastic. I know this year we've been fortunate, and thank you again to have the opportunity to come out and participate, and we'll have an opportunity to share our perspective on branding your fire department by using the recruitment process, and we're very excited about that. We've worked together for many years in this process, and we're excited to be in part of the Fire Engineering family, and look forward to doing some more written articles for you and some more video stuff for you. We're excited.
Well, and I don't think anybody, and this is not just because we're talking, but I don't think anybody does as a lot of folks do great recruiting, but no one does what you all do in terms of the seminar and the amount of time and energy that you invest in helping people get hired, which is it's God's work. I mean, I think that the fire service is God's work.
Absolutely.
And however, I'm Catholic, so I've got my interpretation, but however you see it, I mean, God's everywhere. If you don't believe me, watch a baby be born.
Oh yeah. You hit that nail right on the head. Well, it's interesting because you mentioned the workshop, and every year Fire Alumni, together with Las Positas College, our host, has been presenting for the last 6 years our Firefighter workshop. This year you'll be with us, and we're excited to have you as our keynote speaker on March 2nd. What do you plan to speak about at the upcoming workshop?
Well, I love history, and I love stories. I think we learn from the example of others more than we learn from the words of others, although I think words are important. But I think from people's examples, from lives well lived. And so I'm going to be talking about service and loyalty. And I think those are very important traits for firefighters. And it's not loyalty. Loyalty to virtues and loyalty to principles far outweigh loyalty to individuals. People will come and go. My good friend Chief Bernasini taught me, friends come and go, enemies accumulate.
Yeah.
But
and people remember you about as long as it takes to pull your finger out of a glass of water and it to fill back up again.
Well, and maybe not. You'd be surprised.
They'll remember your lessons.
Yeah, but you never know how much impact you have on someone. And again, it's about gratitude, because their level of gratitude for whatever gift you give them at that moment could be life-changing. It could be something as simple as a smile. It could be something as simple as inviting someone over, or holding the door open, or helping them put packages in a car. You don't know what kind of day that person was having. There's a great story about a young man in high school who at one point in time bumps into a young lady who he had seen here and there in their advanced French class, and he just smiled at her and said, "Hi, Cindy, how's it going?" And she said, "Great, Bobby." And she went home that day and had planned to kill herself and didn't, because somebody said hi to her, and who's somebody who she didn't even think knew she existed. And think about that in terms of what we do.
Yeah, every day. Every day we are so fortunate. Well,
so
go ahead.
Don't take a second of your time for granted. and smile at every face you pass. And a lot of people won't smile back. I mean, especially today, nowadays, people, I smile at every face you see. And
Life's too short to be miserable.
yeah, and there's a lot of miserable folks out there.
Yeah, there is. So you chose to make a trip. I mean, you have a very busy schedule. We talked just the other day about how much traveling you're going to be doing, and with FDIC coming up in April, and yet on March 2nd, you're going to have the opportunity to spend with us. What made you choose to spend some time with us?
Well,
Besides, we asked you.
I probably shouldn't even say it, because I always tell people I don't do anything in March because of FDIC, and I don't. Because of FDIC, but what you're doing is different, and if we don't care about the future, and if we don't invest in those that are going to come after us, then that's the greatest wrong we could ever commit, because everything we should do should be laying a foundation or helping make the future a better place, not making our place better. That'll happen as a consequence of making the future better. Doing something for the folks that are coming in it's its own reward. My son, who's a Navy pilot, I always love to brag about him. He's down on North Island out there in San Diego. He always says self-preservation is its own reward. So going to your event and spreading the gospel, as it were, of firefighter virtue is an opportunity to self-preserve the virtue that is the fire service. And being a firefighter is a virtue. And it's about sympathy. It's about duty and loyalty. It's about honor and respect. It's about virtue and living a virtuous life, and having the chance to share that it means the world to me, and I'm humbled by the opportunity.
Well, we're grateful as well. So when to wrap it up, I'd just like to take a minute and say, thanks for being with us today. We greatly appreciate your time. Again, we know just exactly how busy you are, and that means the world to us. And for our viewers' information, Chief Halton will be with us at the Firefighter Workshop on March 2nd, live in person. So you'll get to hear more of the same things that he's talking about at Las Positas College. And so you can go to firealumnievents.com to register. We thank you for joining us here today, Chief. And
thank you, guys.
Look forward to seeing all of our viewers on March 2nd. Have a great day and be safe.
Thank you, Bob.